We are hearing that New Year's Eve events are being canceled around the world due to public safety concerns of potential threats of attack. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest headlines so that way you can see it for yourself. Public safety concerns lead to cancellations of major New Year's Eve events. Here is what to know. Paris, Tokyo, and Belgrade, they have called off events following FBI bust of the alleged LA bombing plot. And we had seen this just a little while ago, about a week or so ago. There were people that were planning to attack Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. Now, France joins Italy, Japan, Serbia, and Hong Kong in cancellations of major New Year's Eve events. Is public safety taking precedence over tradition in 2025? Now, this comes, as I mentioned, you can see here the feds say that they thwarted a New Year's Eve bomb plot in Los Angeles. We're hearing there were at least 5 locations that individuals were planning to plant bombs throughout the city of Los Angeles and detonate them all at midnight during the New Year's Eve celebration. And take a look, Bondi Beach, we just saw that devastation unfold just a little while ago. The New Year's Eve parties are canceled after fatal shooting takes place, and we're hearing left and right there are major cities that are canceling their New Year's Eve events due to the heightened potential threats of attacks around the world. Now, let me know your thoughts. Are you glad to see these cancellations? Do you think that we should be erring on the side of safety and precaution? If you think so, put yes. If you think no, this is not necessary, and we should not go ahead and do this for public safety, we should carry on with the celebrations, put no in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Yes, take these additional steps, precautions, cancel these events, or no, we should not do this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I'm going to share with you the latest coming out as we're hearing that there are events being canceled around the world right now because there are warnings of potential threats of attacks, not just here in the United States, but all over. And we're hearing that in Times Square, in New York, here in the United States, they're going to continue on with the celebration, but there is going to be a heightened level of security for Times Square just in case of potential threats of attack. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. I'm going to share with you the latest headlines. I'm going to have these on the screen. They're going to be hyperlinked in the description. And if you appreciate that, the updates, do me a favor before we dive in, take a quick second, hit that thumbs up like button. I see we got about 1,000 people on with me live. If I get half the room to hit the like button, we get that up to 500. Helps out the channel a ton. I appreciate it. So if you appreciate the feeds, please do so. Just takes a second. Also, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. I'll keep you up to speed on everything as it unfolds, pretty much doing daily updates. I think this is the second update today because there's been so many things going on. I'll continue to keep you up to speed, so subscribe to stay up to date, and also additional resources linked down below if you're somebody that wants to go into 2026 with your money right. There's a lot of resources down below on ways that you can save money for you and your household. Car insurance, hearing people are switching over their car insurance, something so simple that we never do, saving about $400 a month very quickly, just taking a look at some of the top options that are available to you down below. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive into this. And actually, let's start off with some video footage reminding you of that terror plot that was planned for Los Angeles, giving you the details. Now, this was about a week ago. Then we're going to dive into the cancellations happening around the world right now, what they're saying. Let's go ahead and take a look, though, at some video footage.
So the FBI arrested 4 alleged members of a far-left, pro-Palestinian, anti-government, and anti-capitalist group accused of plotting New Year's Eve bombings, targeting at least 5 separate locations across Los Angeles. First Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Osaley, joins us now. Bill, thanks so much for joining the program. A great operation by the men and women of the United States government. Tell us about the plans of these terrorists. Who are they going after?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, this is an anti-government, that you call them communists, they're anti-capitalists. So they had a plan on New Year's Eve to attack at least 5 locations throughout Southern California and Los Angeles and Orange County. They wanted to start with logistic warehouses, think like Amazon-type facilities, really strike at the heart of commerce. And from there, they had plans to also attack ICE agents and ICE vehicles to dissuade them from doing immigration enforcement. So they had various ambitions, but what is unique to them is they do encourage political violence and they discourage peaceful protesting.
So I want to show our audience a few things right now. This is the testing site that, they planned this and coordinated, and they actually had. And you guys were able to surveillance this for a period of time. They also had these signs that really show a cross-reference of what they believe. They're anti-ICE, anti-police, pro-Palestinian. So let's talk about the motive here.
Yeah.
What group would you say they are a part? Are they just far left? Are they anarchists? Are they Antifa? Who are they?
That's a great question. So this particular group is part of an organization called the Turtle Island Liberation Front. Turtle Island is what some Native Americans refer to as North America. And they were a subgroup of that group. They called themselves the Order of the Black Lotus. But regardless of what you call them, they share the hallmarks of Antifa. They are far left, pro-violent political organization. They have political aims, and they're going to use violence to get there. And this investigation, I can confidently say, was triggered as a result of the president's executive order in 2025 of September and the Attorney General's memo directing the federal government to move its resources and start looking at these groups. And that's how we discovered this group, and we were able to get an FBI undercover agent in the group so we could actually see the communications and be with them when they were preparing for that New Year's Eve attack. And then we arrested them at that time in the desert.
So, Bill, when I look at this crime scene that you guys have of all this evidence, you see these explosives, you see all these, this is tough stuff. You see IED stuff, you see attack plans, you see tested devices, encrypted messages. Who's helping these people out?
It's interesting. They have these silly names. They may look silly, but they're deadly serious, and they're very sophisticated. They had written plans on how to build the pipe bombs. They were using encrypted apps. They were discussing sort of espionage techniques of how they could avert detection and avoid the FBI scrutiny. They're very sophisticated. I think these groups, they speak in chat rooms, they speak in encrypted applications, and they share information, and they're much more sophisticated than people want to believe or that people think. And again, the name sounds silly, but they are deadly serious.
Bill, I hate to do this because I don't want to compromise your investigation, but I think the public needs to be alert to this. Are we seeing more of these type of groups? Because I already know in my home state of Texas, you guys got that trans group that was trying to assassinate ICE agents, and they were planning shooting drills and all of that. So this sounds like the same type of group. Are there more across the country, not just within your district?
What's scary, Lawrence, is I don't think the FBI before this administration was really looking. So I don't know that we really know. And there were lots of shootings. There were school shootings, and we all speculate about what their motives are. I will say now we are laser focused at finding these groups, infiltrating these groups, and taking them down. So, of course, it's impossible to know, but you can be assured that we have the full resources and assets of the federal government looking at these groups. And if anyone sees anything online, in person, you overhear something, please report it to the FBI. tips@fbi.gov.
There you have it, you guys, and let me know your thoughts. Should these New Year's Eve celebrations be canceled because of the heightened threat of potential attacks right now? Yes or no? Drop it in the comments. I see some people saying yes, cancel the events, err on the side of safety. I see some people saying no, that's exactly what the terrorists want. They want you to cancel your events. But then I raised the question, do they want you to cancel their events, or do they want to unalive people at these events? Let me know, yes or no. Should these events be canceled? Drop it in the comments. Hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts. And let's take a look at some of these updates coming out, as we're hearing that events all over the world currently are being canceled. And the one in New York's Times Square we're hearing is still going on, but is going to have heightened levels of security. Public safety concerns lead to cancellations of major New Year's Eve events. Here is what to know. And you can see that this just recently coming out December 19th, 3 days ago. Now, this article says that as people around the world look forward to ringing in 2026, some major cities have already called off celebrations or special events. Paris, for example, has called off its famous New Year's Eve live concert on the Champs-Élysées. The mayor of the 8th of Paris told agencies of France press that the cancellation is due to the concern about unpredictable crowds and that the areas are not sized to host this type of event where people are moving. Fireworks will still take place at the Arc de Triomphe instead of the live concert. However, a pre-recorded one will be broadcast. In Tokyo, the Shibuya Countdown event has been canceled by the organizing committee, according to a government press release. Now, in order to create a safe and secure city, we continue to be vigilant against nuanced behavior arising from drinking on the streets, as well as the risk of crowd accidents, wrote Ken Hasabi, Shibuya ward mayor, in this release. The city of Belgrade in Serbia also announced that it has canceled its celebrations. This year, there will be no organized New Year's Eve nor Serbian New Year's Eve celebration, wrote Mayor Aleksandar Sapik in a press release. The cancellations come as the FBI busted a New Year's Eve bombing plot in Los Angeles earlier this week, and that's the video footage we just saw, arresting 4 alleged gang members. The plot allegedly included a plan for coordinated bombing attacks using improvised explosive devices meant to target 5 separate locations across the city, the FBI told Fox News Digital. Now, about 1 million people are expected to pack into Times Square in Manhattan for the famous New Year's Eve ball drop. Paul Morrow, a Fox News contributor and a former NYPD inspector, told Fox News Digital that New Year's Eve is the biggest police detail probably in the country. New Year's Eve is sort of the Super Bowl for the NYPD. You have to do everything that you can to control that, not only for terror threats, but just for disorder, he said. You won't believe how many windows and rooms were secured. You want to ensure that there aren't people throwing bottles at each other and fighting, or somebody lets off firecrackers, or there's a stampede. There is a ton of work that goes on behind the scenes in Times Square to secure areas, he said. He referenced planning for weeks, if not months, for New Year's Eve just ahead of the year 2000. You wouldn't believe how many windows and rooms were secured by the NYPD, federal agencies, and state agencies to make sure that there was a ring around Times Square, he said. Now, Morrow said today's celebrations, they have gotten a lot more sophisticated. For those who plan on being in Times Square on New Year's Eve, Morrow said that it's essential to have a contingency plan. If you're with a group of people, or you've brought your kids in, or something like that, it's easy to get separated in crowds, he said. If that happens, you can't necessarily rely on your mobile phones. Sometimes the cell circuits in and around Times Square on New Year's Eve get overloaded. Travelmation travel advisor Shamika Sparks told Fox News Digital that this year she's seen more people opt for private or exclusive celebrations. Let me know in the comments, are you planning to go out for New Year's Eve? If you are, put a 1 in the comments. If you're planning to stay home or do something private, put a 2. Let me know. Going out to celebrate, put a 1. You're going to be staying home, put a 2. Celebrating in New York's Times Square is a quintessential way to ring in the new year, but there are many people who never experience this because they don't want to spend the holiday packed shoulder to shoulder with a million other people, said Sparks. Now, she said curated events, dinners, and cruises are gaining traction for celebrations. So some people are opting not to go out and do the celebration, but rather to just go to an event, a dinner, or a cruise, something like that for a celebration. The popularity of these experiences has increased since 2020, when people still wanted a memorable evening, just not surrounded by a lot of other people, said Sparks. And wow, I'm seeing a lot of 2s pouring into the comments. People are saying, no, thank you. Not going out into the crowd's going to be staying home for New Year's Eve. Reading on, it says, these include members-only clubs, high-end ticket New Year's Eve celebrations, and ultra-private events. Now, previous incidents around holidays. Take a look at this. December 14th of 2025, just about a week ago, Bondi Beach, Sydney, an ISIS-inspired terror attack left 15 losing their lives and dozens injured during a Hanukkah event in Sydney, Australia. December 20th, 2024, almost exactly a year ago, in Germany, 5 people lost their lives and more than 200 were injured when a car deliberately plowed through crowds at the Magdeburg Christmas market. Fox News Digital reported at the time. December 2nd, 2023, Paris, France. 1 person lost their life and another injured in a knife attack near the Eiffel Tower after the attacker yelled Allah Akbar. December 25th, Christmas Day, 2020, Nashville, Tennessee. Police officers had been responding to reports of shots fired in Nashville's downtown when they came upon an RV with explosive devices. Officials evacuated buildings and called the bomb squad. The vehicle blew up shortly afterward, injuring 3 people. December 31st, 2018, Manchester, UK. 3 people, including a police officer, were stabbed at a Victoria station in Manchester. Officials declared the tragedy a terrorist incident. December 11th, 2018, Strasbourg, France. A man opened fire at a crowded Christmas market in Strasbourg, yelling Allah Akbar and ending the lives of 5 victims and 11 others injured as well. So, man, there you have it, you guys. There is a little bit of background as some of the times that we've had holiday celebrations where there have been attacks, and right now there are concerns of that yet again, as we are seeing all over the world. They are saying they're going to be canceling these events. Take a look. France joins Italy, Japan, Serbia, and Hong Kong in cancellations of major New Year's Eve events. Is public safety taking precedent over tradition in 2025? And I saw all those twos. I see them still coming in of people saying not going to be going out to celebrate, going to be staying home. Twos everywhere. I do see a couple of ones of people saying that they will be going out to celebrate, but for the vast majority of the people on the channel right now, they're dropping some twos saying no thank you, going to be staying home to celebrate. And I think that's usually safer too, because even if you go out and celebrate, then when you're coming back home, sometimes there's people that are driving on the streets that are drunk. It could be dangerous, especially if you've got family with small kids. It just seems like it's a lot less stressful and safer to stay home. Now, in an unexpected and unprecedented move, Paris, Tokyo, Venice, Belgrade, and Hong Kong, they have all decided to cancel or restrict major public New Year's Eve events for 2025. These changes come amid increasing concerns over crowd control, public safety, and logistical challenges. Cities that are known for their grand celebrations, such as Paris with its iconic Champs-Élysées concert, and Tokyo with its Shibu countdown, are opting for alternative formats to ensure safety and minimize the risk of overcrowding. This year's event are a sharp contrast to past years when millions gathered to usher in the new year. Authorities in these cities have acted decisively, citing security concerns, crowd management issues, and the safety of attendees as the key reasons behind these significant changes. And here you can see Paris, France. They're going to be canceling. We also have Tokyo, Japan. They are going to be canceling as well. Venice, Italy. Restrictions of public celebrations instead of a full cancellation. So in Venice, there's going to be a whole lot more restrictions set in place, but not a full-on cancellation of the event. Belgrade, Serbia, public concert canceled for safety. Private celebrations, though, are still allowed. Hong Kong, China. Fireworks are going to be replaced by a laser light show due to political instability at this time. And a global shift toward public safety over tradition. The 2025 cancellations and restrictions across Paris, Tokyo, Venice, Belgrade, and Hong Kong signal a significant shift in how cities are approaching mass public events. As the world continues to grapple with crowd management, security issues, and public safety, these decisions highlight that, for many cities, the traditional large-scale celebrations of the past may no longer be feasible. While this new approach may seem disappointing to some, the priority is clear: to protect citizens and to ensure that public celebrations can take place safely, even if that means adapting or curtailing the size or the scope of those celebrations. As we move into the future, these changes could mark the beginning of a new era of more controlled and virtual celebrations with safety at the forefront. So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that this is a good move? I saw somebody in the comments saying, so should we live in a state of fear? And of course not. Here on the channel, we always say, don't be scared, be prepared. And also, knowledge is power. Being aware of what's taking place, not just sticking your head in the sand and pretending like nothing's going on, but you need to be aware of these things so that way you can use wisdom and caution and not live in fear, but also don't live in ignorance either. And this comes as we saw that, take a look at this. We had seen that there were plans, there were plots for Los Angeles, and a lot of these are just in response to this. This New Year's Eve plot that was going to take place in Los Angeles just added to those cities saying, hey, we need to take this a step further and either cancel or put extra security on our events, as the feds say that they thwarted a New Year's Eve bomb plot in Los Angeles. An agent said the group planning a bombing, they were dedicated to the liberation through decolonization and tribal sovereignty. You can see this was December 15th, 2025, exactly a week ago. Federal authorities on Monday said that they stopped a New Year's Eve bomb plot in Los Angeles devised by an anti-capitalist, anti-government movement. The FBI said that they arrested 4 people in connection with the plot, and those 4 individuals are listed here, all reportedly members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front. The subjects' self-identification as members of a radical offshoot of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, an extremist group motivated by pro-Palestinian, anti-law enforcement, and anti-government ideologies. They were allegedly planning coordinated IED bombing attacks on New Year's Eve, targeting 5 separate locations across Los Angeles. FBI Director Kash Patel had posted on social media with the update. Now, an agent in a criminal complaint said that the probable cause exists to believe that they committed conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device. The FBI claims that they intended to detonate backpacks with improvised explosive devices at the 5 spots targeting 2 companies that affected interstate and foreign commerce. More charges are expected in the coming weeks, said Bill Esali, First Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, in a press conference. And here are those individuals that were arrested plotting those bombings in Los Angeles. According to the agent, Carroll gave a document describing the bomb plot to a confidential source in late November. Page was also reportedly present at the meeting. The handwritten plan stated that the IEDs would be complex pipe bombs, including instructions on how to manufacture the bombs, and included guidance to avoid leaving evidence behind that could be traced back to the co-conspirators, the agent claimed in the complaint. Carroll and Page then reportedly recruited others, including Gaffield and Lai, all of whom took several steps toward enacting the plot. They got bomb-making materials and went to the Mojave Desert on Friday to test their devices, the agents said. Now, the FBI agents descended on the group and arrested the members as they prepared the bomb-making items they added. Information from the confidential source led officers to determine the members used a group chat to discuss the plot and plan the Friday testing date. Now, the agent said Carroll operated an Instagram account for TILF, which posted content in favor of violence against U.S. officials. TILF also calls for the working class to rise up and to fight back against capitalism. Moreover, TILF advocates that liberalism and peaceful protest will be the downfall of those who believe it is enough, and that direct action is the only way. The bombing plot called for measures that its members should take to avoid detection. They also reportedly identified New Year's Eve as the target date because fireworks would make explosions less noticeable, the agent said. The plan called for using burner phones members would dispose of afterwards. It also stated that they could make no mistakes, keep their hair tightly concealed, and wear gloves to avoid leaving DNA traces, they added. The members met on December 7th to discuss the plan. An undercover FBI agent was present. At the meeting, Carroll said she had PVC pipes and potassium nitrate, the agent said. Page and Carroll discussed plans for future attacks after the New Year's Eve bombings, namely plans to commence targeting U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE agents, and vehicles with pipe bombs beginning in January and February of 2026, with Carroll noting that that would take some of them out and scare the rest of them, the agent said. Then on December 12th, they traveled to the desert. Carroll said that the plot would be considered a terrorist act, the agent said. The law enforcement arrested the group when they determined bomb-making would soon occur. Items found at the scene included potassium nitrate and sulfur powder, the agent said. They had everything they needed to make an operational bomb at the location. That is the reports coming out, and that is the concerns that were for those potential attacks that were going to be coming in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. Now, we're also seeing that there is that cancellation for the attack that took place at Bondi Beach. So now the New Year's Eve parties are going to be canceled after that fatal shooting took place as well. So right now, cancellations taking place all over the world. As you can see, a massive New Year's Eve party planned for Sydney's Bondi Beach has been canceled following the mass shooting last week. Bondi Beach was pitched as Sydney's largest New Year's Eve party and the soundtrack to Farewell 2025, featuring exclusive performances and a special countdown set from Patrick Topping. But now we're hearing that all of this has been canceled over here in Australia for Bondi Beach. Also Paris, we're hearing Tokyo, Belgrade. Also we saw Italy, Japan, Hong Kong. An assortment of cancellations all over the world right now, as we're hearing that there is threats of attacks, and especially here in the United States, and we're hearing that in New York's Times Square, heightened sense of security and alert right now. Public safety alert. Be aware as we enter the new year for potential attacks. If you're going to be going out into large crowds, please have your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings, as we're hearing there are heightened levels of concerns for attacks. So that is the latest, you guys. And again, let me know your thoughts. Are you going to be going out for New Year's Eve? I saw a lot of twos in the comments saying no. Planning to stay home or do something private, keep it quiet, celebrate with the family. I saw a couple of ones, people saying they will be going out into the crowds. Let me know, one or two. And also, in addition to that, if you haven't done so yet and you appreciate the updates, please take a quick second, hit that thumbs up like button for me. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. And as I mentioned, all the resources and articles are going to be linked down in the description below. And as we get ready to enter into 2026, if you're looking to save some money, get your financial house in order as we enter into the new year, take a look at some of the resources, totally free, available for you to see what options are available for things like car insurance, mortgage insurance, health insurance, a lot of different options there to help you save money and get more money as well. So take a look at those. Just takes a couple of minutes. Wanted to make those resources available to my viewing community. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.